Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Power to Pivot podcast. I am so excited for today's episode. First of all, my guest today is Nick Vu. Nick is a spiritual coach and guide here to talk about his experiences. And I think he has a very interesting and unique approach as it pertains to his coaching. So, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank
I'm
you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on and taking the time. And guys, this is our first live video of the podcast. So welcome to our YouTube channel, Nick.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me again.
um I want to get started with a little bit about you. How did you come to this path where you are right now? It's a kind of a
Wow.
big question. I know, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Um you could take I guess I'm So we're the Power to Pivot podcast. I know we talked before the show. We focus on those moments in life when we are forced to make other choices. We're never stuck, we're never lost, we're never alone. Um, was there a minute in your life when you came to a point where you went, I can't do this anymore and I have to be true to who I am?
Definitely. Let's just say it was unconscious time, more of a my first spiritual awakening. Let me tell you how it happened. Shortly after my father's passing, I kind of predicted his death by accident, and I was trying to figure out what was this feeling I was sensing. I didn't know what it was. I had it since I was a child. I could hear it and sense it and everything. And I always loved horoscopes since I was a child. And I let it point to I'm a Libra sun, and I clicked on the tarot channel, and the reader who I enjoyed, she ended up being my mentor and coach and lifelong friend. And she teaches her tarot course and helps me discover my own abilities. And I've been practicing for almost 4 years now, 1 or 4 years. And then recently I learned to pick up runes. And basically, I felt like it was guided to me by the universe. It's not by just my own decision. Okay, this is how it happened. My partner is also a local Houston psychic, and she needed a partner for the Houston Texas Renaissance Festival. She'd be a tarot reader, and she needed a partner. And she's like, Nick, I want you to do runes. I'm like, okay. I'm like, here's the runes, and I have to study them. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have 1 month, exactly 4 weeks to learn all the runes. you know, and then not just that, practice reading them, and then reading for others. And so, uh, when I was learning the runes, surprisingly, thank God, that some of the runes actually have multiple meaning on the tarot cards. And so I can remember. So I'm more of a I just say I'm a top three clairs are clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. So, for example, I'm learning the image of this rune, okay, and when I'm learning it, I'm like holding it, gibbering with my hands, trying to feel it, trying to memorize the feeling, and I'm like, hey, this is actually about abundance, And I think about all the pentacles, and I'm like, okay, it's easy to remember. But but my challenge is still telling you now. I still haven't memorized all the names of the runes, but I do memorize the feeling, the energy, you know, and how the energy transforms between the runes, and how it gives the different meanings to them too, especially when you combine them, different runes. So that's how I memorize them really quick. Within maybe 6 runes per day, I memorize it just like that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then my partner was so impressed, and she's like, Nick, can you give me a reading? I'll give her a reading. And she was like, wow, you're pretty accurate. But as time progressed during the Renaissance Festival, I pick up weird information. Like, for example, how do I know this person was a teacher or a doctor, or they're planning a travel to because he's in the military, things like that, it was just ironic, and for example, I even try to test it out within myself. For example, how today's sale is going to be at the Renaissance Festival, right? Intuitively, without using the runes, I'm like, today's going to be Not bad and not slow. That's a good thing. I just felt it, I knew it. And I drew the runes confirming it. And then I'm like, okay, we'll see. As the day go on, the end of the day, I was right. It was just very interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Were you nervous, apprehensive to come and sort of open yourself up to share this talent, this gift?
Very much so, because I was born raised up in both Buddhist religion, and then since there's not Vietnamese, I guess, temples or community here, so my parents were forced to put me into Catholic school. So I was raised Catholic, married into
Very
Catholic.
different.
Yeah, and they found found on tarot and divination and all that, but but I still have my Catholic roots, and I have no judgment. So it is what it is. Um, I still pray over my, Catholic prayers over my cards, sage and everything. So I have no judgment. I just have respect, and that's it. And let's just say I feel like whatever I'm doing, it's always my intention is to help people and to help discover themselves. I'm just sharing my journey with just like them because I'm no better or less than them. They can teach me something because I learn something with each reading, with each spot, with somebody.
It's
You know,
amazing, right? You're a teacher in one regard, but it's the same thing. We're all teachers and students at the same time. We all have the ability to learn. We just have to be open to it.
yeah,
um I love that you brought that up because it's such an important message for the world. And I love that you said, like, I'm no better. None of us are.
yeah,
we're we're just people kind of taking a ride on this planet and trying to get through life. So um I think that is an important call out going into this year, and just to bring more acceptance and love and peace to the world, and um be more open and respectful for one another.
simply what it is.
So, in your practice, your approach is to use these tools to help people go inward, do their own inner healing, inner work to find their transformation and find their own spiritual gifts.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
There's a there is a saying. I can't remember what it is. How can I say this? It's like a great teacher doesn't show you the answer; they just show you the direction, the guidance to find your own answer. You know, that's what I truly believe. I don't want you to tell you what to see. I want you to discover your own light, what you own meaning to it. That's what it is. And just like how I was, my mentor showed me where to look, but not what to see, what to learn, because that's my own journey. you know. Um, I found like for example, my friend I'm talking to, we're going through a same journey of inner healing, but it's same thing we took different paths. Like for example, I took through the path of tarot, runes, and then mindfulness. What she did was for her, it was just simply walking meditation, sound healing. That's what it is. And that's what I'm trying to say. I just whatever modality that works for you, go for it. There's no right or ifs and or buts. I just invite you to go walk the path with me, wherever you're taking a bike and I'm taking the rollerblades, whatever it may be.
I
Yeah.
love that. It's so important. There's so many ways to do this. Um, and I think it's important to remember there's not one right way. There's the right way for you. And it is through some, it's physical fitness, and I believe that, and sports, and that can be a meditative outlet. Um, for me, at one point I realized it was through cooking. That was a way, like, there's that path that brings you back to your center. And I think it's important to remember, like, it doesn't have to be Nick's way or my way. Like, find what works best. And through doing that inner work and coming back to yourself, the more you do it, you find your path back.
Yes.
And
Perfectly said.
that's when things get fun.
Yes.
um so how I want, before I forget, because I want to talk about the clairs, but how can people reach you for readings? We will post all of your links, but I want to make sure we touch on it.
There's a digital business card sent to you, the dot business card. There will be all my social media accounts, my YouTube, my email, my I guess my email way to touch for um booking, I guess appointments on the calendar as well. There's a calendar link where you set an appointment there, and you will see all the I guess the descriptions and the disclosure there on there as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk for a few minutes about the clairs. You mentioned you came to discover your three primary clairs.
Yes.
Tell us what the clairs are and why they're important.
Okay, clear represents clear. Okay, and then there's clairvoyance, clear seeing, clear audience. There's clear hearing, clear sentience, clear feeling. There are gustance and something. I forgot the other one was there's smell and taste. And yeah, but I think I'm missing one more. Clear cognizance. There you go. Clear knowing. Yeah. So my three primary clairs is clear sentience, clear cognizance, and clear um audience. I just say audience, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And those my three primary clairs. But my weakest one will be clairvoyance, but it still shows whenever it needs to. Yeah.
What are some ways that you recommend for someone to get in touch with their clairs? Because we all
Oh,
have them.
yeah, we all have them, definitely. Yeah. For me, definitely through mindfulness, meditations. I try to use all my senses. Like for example, I'm going through an event, I will go, let's just say a business networking event, right? I'll sit in my car. I'll try to predict, okay, what is the energy going to be like? What is the vibes going to be like? I'll close my eyes, meditate. And when I get that information, I test it out. Go in there and I'll be like, okay, which group am I going in? Which group can I talk to that's more my vibe that I get along with? And meditate, tap into that, and then try to approach and try to talk to them, and see if it's right. If I'm right or wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. There's no problem. And when I'm done through the event, I go sit in my car at home, whatever it is. I try to play back everything backwards to this what I said, the speech, the energy, how it feels like, the smell, the alcohol, the air, the perfume, or whatever it is, and try to remember how I felt in it, and visually try to like for my clairvoyance, I try to memorize the details, locations, or the place where I'm familiar with. Try to find something that it's not there, even though I'm very familiar with the area, with that little scene, that little area. Try to find something that I do not recognize. Try to go deeper. Um, try to memorize the hearing. What did you hear? What type of music or what it was? Things like that. What kind of sensations did it bring you? Or the energy of the person bring you? Things like that. What did I do wrong, and then what did I get right? That's how I remember try to improve my clairs that way. Yes.
So, how does one start to become aware that they have the clairs? Because it's really like we've had those experiences where we walk into a room and we can feel like, ugh, the energy in here is not right. But it's not necessarily someone being aware that they have that ability, but it's an example of how you could have your clair. So how does one come to that awareness? Or if they're
Okay.
not into meditation yet and mindfulness yet, how do you recommend, like, or how would you explain the experience of having and being aware of your clair abilities?
for me, what awakened me to this is then when I get the same feeling I get, like for example, I get the same tingling sensation or the heavy heartedness, right? And now I observe like what is it, what's causing it, right? Sometimes I get things beforehand, but then something happens later on, and it matches that same feeling, or something confirms that same feeling that it's gonna happen that you knew, right? So when you know it and something comes to fruition, memorize that feeling. Memorize what went through your mind. What heart did you feel? Body sensation. Went through what words did you speak? Because you don't know. Or what did you hear that triggered that? Try to remember that sensation, that moment.
Mm,
You know, and then once you memorize it, try when you have when I guess that opportunity comes up to happen again and repeatedly, then you're on the right path or direction. There's a guiding light there, you know. And that's where I led into divination to like tarot and moon. Sometimes I get like um tingles while during a reading. I'm like, this message is really important, you know. So how do I come to that is when I get those tingling feelings, I get a message that like, yeah, Nick, whatever that tingling you got, it was right, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just we have to be very, very mindful and present within ourselves to recognize that hey, maybe I get this feeling because, for example, I'm in the wrong energy or I made the wrong decision, and I get that, I should not do this. I should memorize that. So when I make a business decision, I get that weird feeling that maybe I should just wait. Not right. Maybe it's good for me later, but not now. Things like that. You have to be mindful. Yeah.
It's so hard sometimes because we want things when we want them.
Yes. Yes.
Our ego can
Go
be
on.
so strong and we want to control, well, we want
Yes.
to control the outcome.
Yes.
But these are important tools. Now, it leads you to the inner work. So when you're working with your clients, you take them on a journey inward. Tell us why is it important that we do that inner work?
There's a saying, what you do for self, you do for others, right? So, and like and another thing is, when you teach a man to catch a fish, you think you feed him for lifetime, right? Same thing. We got to teach us ourselves to learn how to trust ourselves, trust our guidance, know ourselves, know who we are, so we can give the same information, so they can, others can know who they are, their own direction, their own purpose. Even though it may be different, maybe a same path, but different directions for us, Like I said, maybe I got to go turn left, but you got to turn right, but we all end up same place. Yeah. So that's how I feel, basically. Yes.
What do you recommend when someone comes up with resistance to what you're saying during a reading? Does it happen? It has to happen.
Oh, so many.
You're wrong. That's not possible.
Mhm. Okay, I'm like, oh yeah, you're welcome to do that, I'd be like, that's your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and you have the power to manifest. There's nothing wrong. That I believe that there's nothing, either right or wrong, good or bad. It's just is, and it's our own, you know, personal, our own, I guess, thoughts, emotions, actions to make it to empower us or disempower us, you know, and we have to, I guess, use our own discernment to what can we control our own, our own selves. And I'm like, yeah, if you decide this, I'm like, hey, you're wrong, that's fine. Then that's their own thoughts, feeling, emotions to manifest their own real reality. And that's fine. That's up to them. And those who heed, then they understand.
Have you ever had someone come back to you after who maybe was resistant in the moment, but then it whatever situation turned around and they came back to you and they were like, you know what, you were right.
Yes, and this is the first time I experienced this too. I was reading to a client. She was asking about her ex-boyfriend and what he's going to communicate. And usually, the way I read about I don't not read about the past. I read about the current situation and the near future. When I say near future, maybe like 3 to 8 months, maybe at most a year. Because anything can change within that time frame. But um, but yes, when I give her a reading, I'm like, okay. the card says this and this and this is what it says. I says that he will call. I mean, like I say, I was guessing doing the sensing the energies of the card and doing the numerology too, feeling it. And I got between 3 to 6 months. But as I ended up finding out later, she called that he got contacting within 4 weeks. You know, so it's like I don't predict the future like that. I just predict that yeah, he yes or no that he will contact her. You know, things like that. So just why I'm kind of surprised that um she didn't believe me, but he would call because he told me he was a traveling guy. He traveled for work and he doesn't talk as much. You know, so when she said that, he's like, I wasn't sure he'll call me because we broken up and he doesn't like me. But I'm like, the cards here, they look good, you know, like, and the energy is something that he will call. I just don't know when exactly because people has their own free will. Like you want him to call, but so does he. Does he want to call? Energetically speaking, yes, he wants to call, but free will actions, I don't know. That's up to him, you know? Yeah.
So interesting. Like free will is such an important part of this. And I think it's when people go for a reading, and I do want to come back to something that you talked about before we started the call, um, about fortune telling versus what you do. But I want to talk about free will first because it's such an important component that we all have it, right? We need to accept that we have the free will, but so does everyone else. So when we go to a reading, it's important to remember that. Like things can change, someone's decision can change, because they have free will. And
Yes.
so we can only, I guess, see into or feel into so much of the situation, but we want to hold on to that outcome. That's where the control comes in. uh can you talk a little bit about that?
For me, I tell my clients to, you know, be optimistic, but yet detach. Like if you're gonna send love to them, fine, but love to them to where you're good with or without them. You
Mm,
know, with or without them, or with or without the outcome you may expect. You know, try to detach. Just try. We all like one of the universal laws for me. I use the most. I tend to use the perpetual transmutation of energy.
ooh, what is
Okay,
that?
basically we all have the power to transmute good energy to even better or bad energy to good. So for example, good example like this, I have my personal experience. I quit my current job, you know, for a new job that pays better. Within 90 days, I quit my old job, that new job to go back to my old job, my current job now. And I get paid double. And I was going through that process of like, I quit my old job, go to a new job. Yeah, they're paying more. I work from home, but the work life balance was not there. It's super toxic. You know, you're glued to a chair for 12 hours and working overtime when you're not getting paid, getting chewed out, cussed out. You know, and I'm like, why am I going through this for me pay? But at the same time, I pull cards and trust my intuition. Say, yes, I should go in this direction. Why am I experiencing so much turmoil, chaos? So I had a And again, during that time, I was so upset. I was crying too, you know, about this and self-worth type stuff. And the full card saying that, yeah, I should go to this direction. But my physical world, I'm like, why? This is like hell. And then later on, I found out that I decided to quit. I had to find out why. I figured out my self-worth, my self-value, what I wanted and what I did not want, and what I did and did not deserve. Okay.
Mm,
And when I quit, you know, my superior told me, Nate, he's like, we pay you well. Okay, I'm like, well, even though you pay me, I defined how much I'm worth, not you, no one else. Okay, so I left, and I left, and I applied to my old job. Talked to my boss. As applying, I'm like, how they're asking me how much I want to get paid. I'm like, oh goodness. So I meditated and grounded. All I heard was double the difference, double the difference. So I'm like, okay, whatever my new job was paying me, I doubled the difference of that. And surprisingly, my old job, my current job, accepted it without pushback. Okay,
Wow.
where so my job was not only friendly, I get along with everyone. I'm great at what I do. Like I can be left alone, and I get paid twice as much and better benefits. I'm like, now I see why the divine told me to go through this, to go through it. That's why I tell people sometimes you get the tower card, rune card, or all this stuff. Like, it's not bad. It may seem bad because we identified with it, but then try to see it as growing pain. There's something more to it. We just have to have the courage to go through it. Yes, it was hard for me. I was crying. Yes, I admit I was a little girl. but
That's
but
okay.
I was glad that I'm grateful that I trusted in the divine, had faith, and pursued. You know, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's how we can trust our intuition. Sometimes it's like, yes, we should go do it, but everything is falling apart. But I just found out that the lessons that what I learned, is to make room to know who I am, to embody that, my self-worth, and then, humble myself too. It really humbled me to go back, because I'm like, it was like, Nick, why did you come back? Like hearing that kind of, question to where it didn't bother me anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just a real rude awakening.
And sometimes we need that. I think we all go through these experiences where the universe is like tapping you on the head and we don't listen. We shut it off. We don't want to trust it. Our intuition doesn't always make sense. As a matter of fact, it often will tell you things that don't make sense, um, but
Mhm.
lead you down such a path. And when you follow it, it's like, oh, this is why. um,
Yes.
and yeah, I think it's important to look back and realize, like, well, crap, thank you, like, thank you, universe, I get it now. You get that clarity. Not easy to do, but definitely worth the experience and the work, and to continue to follow that.
Yes, it's definitely a blessing in disguise. So I actually try to encourage people. Anything bad happens, it happens for a good reason. And, not just to punish you. It's just to empower you to see who you really are. Yeah, it's just really are. You got to face the fear. What we seek is within the fear. Our prize, our what we seek. Yeah, everything we seek and treasure the most is within that fear.
Mm.
Yeah,
I love that you said that. That is where we find our power.
yeah,
That is where we find who we really are.
yes,
Lean into it.
yes. I encourage it.
I want to go back for a second. So the difference between your reading versus a, like, a, what did you call it, like a fortune teller, like, that's not what you're doing.
No, no.
Let's make the distinction.
For me, fortune telling, you tell people about, the future. Yeah, you can tell the future, but for me as a reader, I'm more of a spiritual reader. You know what I'm saying? How to help people evolve spiritually, what they need to know how to evolve. Yeah, I can do um career readings, but it's not me because it's like temporary. It doesn't last. It's not fulfilling. Yeah, what if I can give a reading that they brings in fame and fortune, but they're not fulfilled? Am I really doing a service to them? No. You know, if I can really enrich their soul and then knowing their power, their own power, what they can do, and then they become rich and famous and healthier that way, and maybe they can have a positive, healthier effect on other people's lives, then yes, that'd be great. But to me, everything comes within themselves, not from the without.
Mm.
Yes.
um let's get into the cards and the runes a little bit.
All right.
I love the runes. Let's talk about it. So it was impressive to me that you memorized them so fast, at least the energy of them. Um,
Yes.
there's a lot of them. How many are there? It's like 48 or
There's 28, no, 24 symbols, but one blank. Okay, that's an Elder Fulark alphabet. I think the younger Fulark, there's 16. But for me, what's popular now or common is the Elder Fulark. But the caveat is that Elder Fulark, there's not many concrete or the historical facts and data in each meaning of the runes. So it's been also destroyed over time, especially when carved on wood, bones, and things like that. It will disintegrate, and so the meanings have been lost and then skewed a little bit. So that's why there's some people lean into the younger food art because there are some historical facts and data they learn from that. But somehow the most common ones everybody's using is the elder food art, and I think the elder food art is for me it's more intuitively guided, you know, that where you can actually sense the energy and how they transmute, change to give a different meaning to it as well. Yes.
so so the runes, it's a runic alphabet, right? So
Yes,
every symbol is essentially a letter or word that has a meaning, that has an energy attached to it.
correct.
Um, so can you show us some? I wish I had my runes out, but I don't. I should have.
Um, this one.
Okay.
Behu?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Behu, this is more about abundance, material gain, worth, whatever it may be. So how I learned is like, for example, this will be connected to any pentacles suits, things like that, you know, or give this one, Gibo, exchanges, gifts, generosity, equal give and take. When I first sensed this and studying this and looking at this, looking through the symbols, I'm like the X, I'm like, it reminds me of the energy of the 6, 7, and 8 of Pentacles. 2, 6 equal give and take, 7 investments, how are we gonna invest to give and take. 8 mastery of our own skills to have that, abundance. Things like that. It doesn't have to be material, it doesn't have to be pentacles, it has to be emotional too, support, give and take. So yeah, it was just different, it can transmit to different meanings in that way as well. That's why it's so beautiful to me. Learning
Do
this.
do people have to do a full reading with the runes, like, or can they just pull one and get the
I just
energy of
pull
the
them.
day?
Yeah, I do that too. End of the day, I'd be like, oh, this is what I got, I'll even put it in my pocket, I meditate with it, chant the name of it, and you try connecting with it deeper. It's like, okay, with this spirit of this Fehu, you know, with this meaning of this stone, I'll meditate with the spirit of this Fehu. Tell me what I need to know. How can I connect with you deeper? What meanings do I need to know to unlock to help me and others? I keep that in my pocket, you know, and at the end of the day, I'll reflect back. What does it mean? What is it trying to tell me? You know, even if I don't bring it to work and put it in my pocket, I just meditate. I just sit with my hand, sit in my palm of my hand, and just meditate. Try to connect with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
what what do you recommend? Like, obviously you had a system that worked, right? You just sort of
Yes. Yes.
connected with the energy of the symbols. Are there other resources that you would recommend for people?
Yes. There's a lady on YouTube. She's actually a scholar, academic scholar, 3 masters. Um, 3 masters, and actually in Germanic languages and Fulark alphabet as well. Let me find her because she's very super good, very academic scholarly. She has a lot of scholar information, academics information. Also, she's a practitioner, so she's very good. Let me try to find her name. I think it's Moon Lilith. I'm sorry here.
No, you're good.
Um, she is amazing. Yes, her channel on YouTube is Wild Moon Lilith.
Nice.
I
Got it.
recommend any um, who desire to learn the history, theology of it, because sometimes these runes are connected to a deity, like Odin, another Germanic and Scandinavian god deities, period, and she has the scholarly information and she's a practitioner. She can tell you, what they fully mean too. And I learned from her as well. Not from me, I learn intuitively. That's how I think most intuitive readers are more accurate that way, more and that's we connect that way better. And then learning things academically, like we do normally, will come later and it will come twice as fast. We learn much faster that way, in my personal experience. And that's what I do recommend, but you don't have to. I'll just invite everyone to try it out.
Now, on the flip side of that, we have the tarot cards. There's like 78 of those, so it's a
Oh
much
yes.
bigger range. Do you feel like there's a lot of them?
Yes.
So I guess with the tarot, how do they differ? They're completely different tools. Um, I'm sitting in the number of them thinking, is the energy like, are you able to get even more clear because with one or the other? Um, what are the differences that you see using one versus the other?
Wow, this is a good question here. Through my personal experiences, let me give you an example. Um, Although, yeah, runes they give pretty broad and overall, um, I guess, guidance and information. But I guess it depends me as a reader and the message from the divine. Because sometimes I give a reading for a lady and it's super, super specific, like detailed. But because I believe that the message from the divine, they really need to tell that person. But most that's just a few cases. But most of the time, it's really broad to the straight to the point. Like, this is what you need, this, and this. We're done. But yeah, with tarot, it gives. I do agree that it may give you more definition, more clarity, more insights. Um, but not but and also along with runes, they make great companions. Like oracle cards, they make great companions. It goes deeper, or it goes a good confirmation too. You know, it give you a different other perspective, and that actually goes helps you, I guess, makes your reading a little bit more powerful that way.
Like
Yes.
it. Are you open to giving a little sample of what a reading with you is like for those watching?
Yeah, sure. I'm just trying to guide, see if I should give a longer reading or a shorter reading.
It can be
I will give
short.
you a reading. Give you a short reading, quick
Sure,
one.
let's do it.
Okay. I'm trying to. So I'm gonna tell you how I tell everybody else during my readings. Okay. I will tell you the good, bad, and ugly, nothing in between. Okay, I do not read for the past. I read for the present moment and the near future. Whatever does not resonate, it will happen in the near future. Okay. Um, so I will go into a slight meditation and try to connect with the energy. All right. All right. Elizabeth Knight. Do you have any questions? Do you want me to pull for you or anything? Just
No,
general, real quick guidance. Okay, quick guidance. Elizabeth Knight. What should you know? Your eyes are very good. Please, thank you. Please forgive me to give it wisdom and insight to the highest vibration. Please protect me and Elizabeth Knights from psychic attacks, negative energies, and low vibrational entities. Please give me insight into only I need to know. Please and thank you and protect us what I need or connect desire to connect with. Elizabeth Knight. Yeah. The first situation for Elizabeth Knights is movement. There is so right now I will give you the pull the runes, give you a brief definition of them, and then I see what information comes out. Elizabeth Knight. Elizabeth Knight. Wow, nice. Burkina. Burkina. Is that advice? Advice for Elizabeth? Wow, I usually don't do this. Usually two, 3 rooms, but the last one came out in 2 rooms. Wow. The first room is the blank room. The blank. And the other one is Isa. Okay. What I'm sensing here that maybe there's some type of movement. It doesn't have to be physical movement, like going by car, plane, train, bus, or maybe planning a trip or something. But it doesn't have to be. I'm feeling that it could be energetic. Maybe there's a intention that there's a shift need to be made. I need to do something here, or maybe you're planning something to allow a new beginning. Rakana, Rakana. I feel like this is more of the Empress card of the tarot. Nurturing, very abundant. You're trying to mature something, grow something. Like I'm gonna give an analogy of the Empress, maybe a process of giving birth. You're trying to create something here, but the process of giving birth is beautiful, painful, but yet miraculous at the same time. Okay, I just feel like this is really beautiful going on here. I feel like you're manifesting that. And the divine wants to confirm with you because the blank room right here for me as a reader is a divine room, divinity room, room of fate, destiny and fate and certainty. Okay. I feel like yeah, you are being guided here to do this. But the Isa represents slight delays, resistance, But I don't feel that. This really is just, it's a perception of that delay or resistance. I think it's just the divine right here combined together right here. I feel like it's letting you know to slow down. You maybe think it's um a difficult road, but it's not. That's why it's a limiting our limiting beliefs. And the east side here, you see the line? It reminds us to align our energies, align to our energies to our manifestation where you're giving birth. And that the alignment takes time too. So the process of taking time, you maybe think it's taking forever. It's slowing me down, it's delaying me. It's not. God is telling you, I feel like the God or divine is telling you, no, you're free from that. The advice is just telling you to align. It may take some time, just like birth. We combine these two. Just like birth, it takes time. It may be struggles in there. There's growing pains there. You have to nurture it, be on top of the tip top shape, whatever that may be with you. Yeah. Yeah. And then the movement here, maybe I think it's more energetic, meaning like align yourself first and then take action. That's what I'm sensing here with movement. I'm not sure how that resonates with you in the present moment. But
A lot.
is there anything you want me to clarify on? I can go a little bit deeper if you like. A little
No,
bit.
that is perfect. Yeah, that is definitely on point with everything you said. So, um, especially moving into the new year and the work that we're trying to do here and
Oh, nice.
the the message of March 4th media and moving that out into the world in a new and bigger way. um Everything that I do in the work here is all about helping other people to live their best life and sharing that experience of being on a mountain scared out of my mind and realizing like, wait a minute, I can change this in the moment for myself. um and teaching people that they can do that too. We're never stuck, we're never lost, we're never alone, and at any given moment we can use that power within us to make a new choice and start again. And it's in those moments that we find our strength and our power. So
Yes.
that's the next the that's the movement and the shift that you see.
Wow. When you everything you just said right now made my whole body tingle, and that's the message that I'm trying to convey exactly. And just to add on here, I feel like I got to tell you this. It's like Yeah, even though we may feel that it's delays or there's blockages that things are working out, but it's not. It's our own. There's some type of attachment there, and like I said, um, we have to use the uh, the perpetual transmutation energy to shift it. We have our own will, our own free will to shift it, turn to bad into positive. We can, and we will, and we must.
We must. It's
And
what we're
so it
here
is.
for. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, now the what did you call it? The transmutation.
Yeah, perpetual transmutation of energy.
So this hits on something too that is very interesting. We talk about the law of attraction. It is
Yes.
one law out there of the universe and how it works, right? Like there's I think 17 of them at least.
Yeah,
Um
correct.
and what you're speaking of is just another one.
Yes, correct.
Um law of attraction is great, but when you start to learn some of the other laws, you start to see how it all works together for this sort of cycle.
Yes,
Um,
and you can see the how it manifests quickly too. You know, and yeah, sometimes we manifest things we don't want, and we do it unconsciously. Yeah, and then that's what we learn again. You know what to do.
the cycle of life.
Yeah, it's
Um,
beautiful.
it's great once you figure it out. Well, I guess once you figure out that it is a cycle, because you peel the onion, right? You come to another layer, you're thinking like, yeah, I got this, and then things start to come back that you thought you were over and you're good, and then it comes
Uh,
back, and then it hits you in a different way, and you go through that dark time again, and then the onion layer peels off. Like that's literally the spiral that we go through in life.
yes. Um, this is what I also learned of all the law of rhythm or neutrality. You know, the difference. Like for example, you know, the law of rhythm, it's like a pendulum. We swing back and forth, right? Right. And then for me, in my opinion, and what I learned too, is like, for example, our emotional wild swings. But when we learn our, I guess, as a heal and things like that, our process to swing is won't as be as extreme, right? So basically, our life is totally to be center and neutral, either good or bad, you know. And don't let like any slight too excitement or a little slight of depression or expanded or contracted energies will bring us to off balance. So we have to remember to be balanced and be in alignment with ourselves, where things won't affect us too much. And that's where detachment comes, and that's when everything starts manifesting. Yeah, yeah. So that's what it is. It's like every day we cannot just play like this, like a heartbeat, but then slowly we just kind of draw a squiggly line, and we're there. It's okay.
That's
Yeah.
it's and this is why we do the work that we do to get
Yes.
that's the goal, and
Yes.
we can all get there. um Nick, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, for joining us today on the show. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap up?
I just want to say thank you, Elizabeth, for giving the opportunity, doing what we do, and you're making my dreams come true. I'm part, and I'm glad to be a part of yours somehow, you know. And yeah, I'm just speechless. I'm just so grateful for everything.
Thank you. We're gonna wrap up. Make sure we'll put all the notes in the show notes of how to contact Nick for reading, for guidance, for support. Remember, guys, you are never stuck, you are never lost, and you are never, ever alone. At any given moment, you can use your power to pivot, make a new choice, and start again. And I will talk with everyone on the next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.